Are you there?
Yeah, but you better mute yourself.
Oh, there it is.
Anybody there?
Hey, Miss Joy, we're just got everybody muted, waiting for everybody to get in.
Okay, we're on.
What?
Am I on? You got me now? Can you hear me? There's Brenda. There's Richard. There's Joy.
I don't see anybody else. I don't see anybody.
I see everybody.
Richard.
I see everybody.
I don't see anybody.
Well, keep it like that.
Brenda.
Probably the best.
Miss Joy, you need to swipe your screen.
Well, okay. Oh, no. Oh, God.
Carol, you're in the dark.
You can't see me?
No, you're in the dark.
I can see you.
Gosh, I look awful.
Well,
I-
we can't do nothing about our real self.
We can't. True.
I can't keep this thing from sliding.
Come over here and look. You see
I've
what
got
we're
it.
doing.
I've got mine propped up on books.
I've got mine propped up on a bowl, but it's sliding on me.
Why is it so low?
Who? Well, are you standing up?
I hope somebody's recording this.
I can see you. I can
You're
see
taller
that.
than anybody. And you're the
I
shortest
can
one.
see this, that, and that one.
I've got to call Mr. Murray. He's not on yet.
I didn't think I seen him.
I don't see Richard.
Well, you have to scroll. You'll have to scroll over to see everybody.
Oh, I see mine. Hey, Richard.
Okay.
I'm afraid if I scroll, I'll mess something up. I'm just gonna leave it alone.
And I scroll where it won't see me. That'd be the best.
Yeah, me too. I can even see who Sheila is. She's got her name tag on.
You can
Well.
see what?
I can
Your
see
name-
who you are. You've got your name tag on.
I don't.
I want to know who it was.
I'm gonna turn a little bit. I don't want that star on my
7
head.
minutes.
Brenda, where are you?
Yeah. See, I can hear, even when you said that.
I'm
Uh,
setting the bar.
I can just barely hear you. Is that reason for that?
Who, me?
We need to go mute.
I'm on YouTube, it says up in the corner.
Me too.
Our cable's been off, so mine had to set, mine been up. Oh, hope nobody watches this. Have we lost Gerald? Okay, I ain't saying nothing.
I think I've got my finger on it there.
Mr. Murray's having just a little bit of technical problems. He's going to be on here in just a minute. We'll get started.
Okay.
Mrs. Wicker, once the meeting starts, or I can hear in just a minute, I'll put the agenda up on the screen.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
So once the meeting starts, I can also share out the agenda on the screen.
You share what?
The agenda.
I'm gonna have to do something with my phone. It's not loud enough. Let's see if I can get it on this other one.
Oh, sorry. Now you're unmuted.
Background music.
Okay, Mr. Murray is joining now. We'll start here in just a few minutes.
Computer audio. Okay, can you hear us? All right, Mr. Murray, slip in there and see.
Well, what about, do I need to go to their meeting
Now,
books?
does he have to, what does he have to do besides what he can see on the screen right now? So not do a thing.
Ask him if he can see it bald head. I ain't got bald head now though. But I meant to.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up and then you listen, you are talking to him right now, right? Okay, now try.
Michael, can you hear me?
Mr. Murray's back with us now, and I think everybody's with us. Sorry, I apologize for the little delay we had there.
No problem whatsoever. Just Miss Damon fixed it just like a broken fence.
Hey, we're representing the lower end down here, the county. Here we are.
Okay, Miss Wicker, we're ready to start whenever you are. Brenda, Drew.
Who's Miss Whitfield?
We have lost Miss Joy.
I don't see you. Me and Michael and Brenda.
So like supposedly you can hit that.
We've lost Joy.
We can't see her either.
There's Miss Wicker and there's Mr. Kazook, and then you can go back up.
Okay, stroll up and down. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Now we could make that screen really big and you could see them all, but then you couldn't see this, and you're probably gonna need to see that.
Probably. Wow, that's good enough right there. Michael,
I can, yes,
does the rest of them have their name tags on?
I don't think so. I'm gonna have to call Miss Joy.
I got
Yeah,
mine.
I've got mine.
Mm-hmm.
Joy, we lost you. Oh. Okay, Gerald's on there. If you can connect back now, we're ready to start. Gerald's on there now.
I don't think Sheila can hear you.
Sheila, can you hear me? Apparently not. I see Brenda. What about you?
Yeah, I don't believe Sheila can hear though.
No, I can hear Brenda, but actually I don't see Sheila's picture. Maybe I have to zoom down to where I can see her picture before I can hear her. I can.
No, I can't hear.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Go down there.
Sheila,
I've lost it now.
I see Richard.
Miss
Can you hear me?
Yes, Miss Wicker, I can hear you. You may just need to turn up your iPhone volume. Can you hear me now?
Is he talking to Sheila?
Okay, let me see if I can turn the volume up on it.
I can hear her.
It's on all the way.
I can hear you, Sheila. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Is that any better?
Can you hear us, Miss Wicker?
Some drink. Pepsi, Coke,
Coffee.
coffee. I got some pods over there.
2 cups.
Oh.
Ms. Wicker, can you hear everyone now?
Can you hear me now?
Ms. Wicker, can you hear us?
Just barely.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Is this gonna bring the meeting stuff up over here? What's
Is
going on?
you can't hear, identify people, Mrs. Wicker?
Sorry.
Ms. Wicker?
Yes,
Okay, can you hear us now?
just barely. I don't know what's wrong here.
Are you on your laptop or your iPhone?
I'm on my iPhone.
Hmm.
I can't get it on the. I've been trying to get it on the laptop, but I haven't been able to yet. So
Michael,
this will have to be as good as it gets.
I can hear Miss Wicker well.
Yeah, she's just having trouble hearing us, Mr. Murray.
That's what I thought.
Who to get?
Mr. Kazoo, can you hear us okay?
I can hear y'all fine. I can hear Miss Wicker fine too.
Yeah. Five, 10.
Bigger pictures.
Ms. Wicker, do you want to start the meeting?
All right, we'll call the meeting to order.
And I appreciate everybody making this work. I know it's a little bit different for everybody. It's just kind of the time that we live in right now. But I do have a statement that we were encouraged from Kentucky School Boards Association to kind of put in our minutes, that it's recorded. So I'm just going to make this statement so that it is recorded. At this time, given the extraordinary circumstances public agencies are confronting, it is not feasible under KRS 61.840 to precisely identify a primary physical location for a video conference at which the public may attend and view a public meeting conducted through video conference under the Open Meetings Act. Instead, because of the public health necessity of imposing social distancing to help stop the spread of COVID-19, a public agency should precisely identify a website, television station, or other technological means, which we provided the YouTube link, by which the public may view a meeting conducted under this act until the conclusion of the state of emergency. So just in essence, based upon the declaration of emergency, and of course, everything that the state is running under right now is why we are conducting this month's meeting in this capacity. So that takes care of that. And next, Ms. Wicker, would be roll call.
Okay, we want the roll call.
Okay, this action is taken by calling each board member's name with the board member answering present. Mr. Murray,
Present.
Ms. Wicker. I'm
Present.
sorry. Yeah, well, Ms. Wilson,
Present.
Ms. Hickenbotham,
Present.
Mr. Gazook,
Present.
and Ms. Wicker.
Present.
All board members present.
Okay, adoption of the agenda.
I have nothing else to add to the agenda, Ms. Wicker. It is that we emailed you all earlier today under the memorandums of agreement. We have added, instead of saying with the Commonwealth of Kentucky, we added, it's the family resource one is still there, but we added an agreement with the Lake Cumberland District Health Department that we received today. And that's the only change that I have to make. It's not really a change, it's that keeps the agenda items the same.
I make a
Who made that?
motion. I make a motion, we accept the agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Okay, a resolution of the Russell County Board of Education regarding the meeting, regarding meeting protocols for the virus.
The Kentucky School Boards Association drafted this this resolution, and you all have had that with your board packet. And it just notes how we'll be conducting meetings during this state of emergency dealing with the COVID. And so it notes that we will be practicing social distancing as our governor and health officials have asked us to do. And as we're doing tonight in this meeting, and that's just what this resolution formalizes that, and that we can participate via video teleconferencing. We can do it over the telephone. It outlines all those circumstances and keeping in place with the current guidance that we have. You know,
Okay,
just a few short years ago, the capability to have a meeting such as this would not have existed, and how things have changed so quickly in just a few short amount of years.
I know.
all right. Next will be the consent agenda.
We do need a motion and a second to
We
adopt.
need a motion
Yeah.
for that.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
I'll make accept the attached resolution to be approved as presented.
Motion by Mr. Kazook,
I'll second it.
Ms. Higginbotham,
okay. We need to vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. We don't need to go through the financial report.
I've got that and it's included with your packet, and I will read that when we get to that part, Ms. Wicker.
Okay,
Oh yeah, we're ready for the consent items. Yeah.
right.
So we have the previous meeting minutes, payment of bills, construction funds, school activity fund reports, financial reports, and field trips. So at this time, I'm going to go over the monthly treasurer's report. It's for the month of March. Balance on hand at the beginning of the month, $10,758,174.83. Total of all receipts for the month, $2,412,218.93. Total of all receipts and beginning balance,
Good, thank you.
$13,170,393.76. And disbursements for the month of March is $2,523,347.75. So balance at the close of the month, cash in bank is $10,647,046 and a penny. On fund balances, general fund, Fund 1, $5,628,872.30. Special projects, Fund 2, which is not a negative balance because we received some wire transfer for that, $170,466.53. District activity, Fund 21, $1,588.54. Capital outlay, Fund 310, $138,330. FSBK Building Fund, Fund 320, $167,950.43. Construction Fund 360, $4,202,840.71. Debt service Fund 400, $0. Food service Fund 51, $332,969.80. Fiduciary fund, Fund 7,000, $4,027.70. Total cash in bank of all funds, $10,647,046 and a penny. Just a couple of notes. Our food service, we've got a balance there. It doesn't have to maintain a big balance. We always want food service to end even or obviously have additional funds. And the fact that we're $332,969.80 at the end of March, expect that to go down for a couple of reasons. The food that we are serving now, it costs more. The prepackaged food, all those shelf-stable foods that we're using, and I know all of you all would want us to continue feeding their families. We will certainly continue to do that, but it does cost more. In addition to that, although we're serving a lot of food and we're still delivering a lot of food, it's not as much as if school was in session. So our daily rate is still not like having, 2,900, 3,000 kids in school every day, and a majority of them getting a breakfast or a lunch. So we can expect that amount to go down. Again, as long as we're not having to prop up general fund with Fund 1, it's fine that it goes down, and we'll continue to feed our families and take care of our students, as I know you all expected for us to do. And again, and especially in times like that, Ms. Carnes and I just briefly talked about this today. Our general fund, and we're not a wealthy district by any means, but the fact that we have built up a little bit of cushion, and a small cushion, but it's certainly a positive going into times that we do not know are uncertain times, I think is certainly fair to say going forward. So the fact that we can, maybe sustain a little bit, a cut or a mid-year seat cut, however that may be, on the governor's initial budget, we were excited that the seat increase would cover the additional contribution for our certified retirement. Of course, they had to back, and I totally understand. And SEEK was kept stagnant at the $4,000 per child, and I totally understand why they did that. But all these things will still be eaten into what reserves that we do have. So we'll just have to, go forward. So that's anybody questions over any of that, or the previous meeting minutes, or payment of bills, construction funds, school activity funds. I will note that, and they will certainly, I told them that as we get used to the Zoom meeting, but Branscom's Construction and Sherman Carter Barnhart was certainly would welcome to participate virtually. They offer that this time, and I told them that since it was the first time that we were going to be holding a virtual meeting, that we kind of get this under our belt for the first time, and then maybe going forward, but they stand ready to give an update. As you all can still drive by and see, still great amount of work is going forward on that building. It's great to see the quality of construction. You see those cinder blocks, but then you see that big layer of insulation that's put out through there, and then they're going to start bricking and working. They're working on the interior some now too. So good work, and that work is going forward.
Good.
Okay, we need to make a motion for this.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda items.
I'll second it.
Okay, vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Lake Cumberland Regional College and Workforce Center change orders.
Okay, the biggest one, let me just say a little draft things to begin with. The biggest one that looks like it's significant is Valley Interior Products, and that's for some things inside. And they got to the point that said they can't supply these, and that was for $38,000. So we have a deduct for them, and that's why we're adding that on to you'll see the Bennett's carpet. So it's really not a change of money. It's a change of who's going to be getting the money. It's the exact same thing. And Bennett said that they will obviously incur any of the sales tax that takes place of that because of the job. So let me walk through some of this. As we were meeting with the teachers and some of the design of some of the building, you will see this on industrial maintenance, 3 different things. And so with industrial maintenance and the outline of his classroom and the way the classroom went, and to be able to have his windows and to still be able to supervise in the shop. Because with Mr. Sloan and that industrial maintenance, sometimes they may be doing a project in the classroom part, but some of his equipment may be that they're working on that too. So Mr. Sloan had worked with us on that, and it's an elevation in some of his walls, so he can have good view of his his shop of students out there. So in doing that, with Rogers Aluminum actually supplying the glass and having to change some of that, and then with Atlas on the hollow metal frame windows, is that change of that with $1,500 for Rogers Aluminum, in addition of $945 for Atlas. That's that part. And then on the Fayette Electrical, that's dealing with where he moves those windows up, and you all can't see my hands probably as much, and I'm being really animated with them. But on moving that up, it changed to having to move some of the electrical that went along with that cost, and some of the lighting. And then on the Knights Mechanical, there's a plumbing, some of the plumbing inspection, the way that it was originally drawn, the plumbing inspector would not pass that. And so we had to change some of the vent piping, and we had to reroute some of that. And you'll see that charge to that. And then to move some of the venting that went through a classroom was an additional charge. So, and then the admin fee on that. So I know that it's some change orders, but in the magnitude of $15 million project, to have a $1,500 change order in the classroom with some glass, or add a $945 for some the hollow metal frame things, all that, it's every change order is important, but these are not big ticket items like we would have in some change items. And Mr. Jonathan Smith and Larry McGowan and Mr. Sloan in his classroom, everybody's really worked on these really well to minimize it and to still make it work and to provide good supervision for the students on the change of the classroom. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions or anything we have. And again, on the Bennett's carpet, adding the $38,000, that's a wash because it's a deduct from Valley Interior Product.
Okay, any questions? Any comments on that?
And again, we're still making some really good progress on what's going on. There's a lot of work that's going on inside the walls that you don't know unless you're inside the walls, because now that they framed it up all the way around and have the cinder blocks, it's good work going on, really good work.
You know, Michael, I went by there yesterday or the day before, and just from the road.
Yeah.
It looked tremendously well.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, the amount of work that they're doing? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And they're doing a lot of the, just so the public knows, anybody, they're also practicing a lot of the, they are practicing, they have their own set of regulations and things they have to go through regarding social distancing, checking in, if they're not well, they have to go home. They can't, two people can't sit together in a car and have their lunch together anymore. We've been having our construction meetings like this. We've had audio and video, and most of them have been audio. So we're still having our audio, our monthly construction meetings and doing all those things, but everybody's, it's just different. But the folks on the side are being cognizant of and making that work too.
I wondered about that.
Yeah.
Doing social distancing.
Yeah. Now, Mr. McGowan and I, and Scott Thomas and Keith Kearns, the job superintendents in Destin, we can still meet and go over plans and still stay spread back, and go over the big plans. But as far as having big groups, we're not doing it. No. But you're right, Mr. Murray. There's a lot of work and it's happening.
There's a lot that you don't see from the road. What's
That's
inside
right. It's behind the walls where the work's taking place. Absolutely.
That's true. There's
Yep.
tremendous amount of work going inside.
Be interesting to see it, but I guess it's not a good time right now.
Well, as long as you put on a hard hat and walked it by yourself, they probably still let you.
Okay, we need a motion on this.
Yes.
I make a motion, we recommend the presented change orders for the Lake Cumberland Regional College and Workforce Centers to be as presented.
I'll second
Second.
that.
Yep.
Okay, vote.
All right.
Okay, vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Okay, the next is the FY21 salary and extra service salary schedules. Too many S's.
It is, yeah. There's a lot to that. So this is for fiscal year 21 that will start July 1. The Russell County Board of Education shall annually establish schedules for salaries and benefits for all classified and certified personnel. And this is corresponding policy 03.22 and KRS 160.2901 and KRS 160.3902. The Russell County Board of Education shall also annually establish a schedule of compensation for extra services, hazardous duty supplements, and supervision. Payments for those services shall be included in the employee's regular salary. Extended employment positions shall be established in position job descriptions funded in the district budget and specified in addendum to the employee's contract. So let's just be blunt and honest here for just a minute. Initially, the governor and the legislature both were going to fund some salary increases. In light of what's happened, that has not happened. I wish I could tell you all, and I wish I could recommend to you all that we would go ahead and fund a salary increase for our employees. They certainly deserve it, and I know all of you all agree that they certainly deserve it. The time that we're in right now, and the work that they've been doing with NTI, our cooks, our family resource folks, our bus drivers, our maintenance, our teachers, administration, our custodians, leaving out groups, our central office staff, everybody has went above and beyond. But in being responsible to this district, I could not in good conscience say, yes, let's give everybody a raise, not knowing what's going to happen. We've had some talks, the webcasts that we've had with the State Department and other persons, you know, it would not be out of the realm of possibility that we get a mid-year seat cut. And so what does that tell us? What does that mean for us? Well, in you know, just in simple terms, if the state says we're going to give you $100 and we budget around $100, but then in the mid-year, they say, no, I'm sorry, we can only give you $75. We've got to know that we've got $25 in reserve that we can bank on. Obviously, just talking about 100 just to make things easy. So being responsible to the district, I can only recommend that we keep their salary tables and our salary schedules stagnant, for lack of a better term. I wish I could say, yeah, let's do that, but I would hate for us to, because we would literally be depleting a reserve. We would be eating up a reserve that we have. It's nothing that we're going to get from the state to fund it. And I am confident in saying this year's budget for school year 2021 is probably better than what school year 21-22 is going to be at. Because I think we can probably all agree on that. So we just have to tighten our belts and be responsible. And again, I hate it for our employees, because if there was ever a time that they deserve it, it's now. But I'm just recommending that the salary schedule, each one of those, as you'll note, it has a it does not include a raise, and the state did not include a raise. So.
You know, Michael,
That
what
is
you-
a shame, but just like everywhere else, you've got to keep within your budget. And I wish it could be different.
Yeah, I'm just really, I hate to say this word, but fearful. Our money now will probably need to be dipped in more for the 21-22 school year than even what may happen this year. But they've told us, you know, a mid-year seat cut is not out of the realm of possibility. So that's just something we have to plan for. Mr. Murray, I think I cut you off. You started to say something.
I was just going to agree sort of what you were saying. You know, I'd like to say we've got one of a kind employees that you can't beat. And I'm like you, I wish they could all have raises, because they're going beyond what they're called right now.
They
There's
are.
so much going on, and we really don't know where the line's going to be drawn.
No.
We've got a remarkable group of workers, and we'll have to hand out to them and just hope everything comes out where we can, maybe in the future, we can make it up to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And just, we are supposed to know it soon. We've got another webcast on Thursday. We will be getting some of the federal stimulus money. That will not be going into a general fund, obviously, to pay salaries or electric bill and stuff like that. That will be part of it. They said we can use to offset a cost of what we're currently incurring because of this, or maybe to buy Chromebooks for our students that may not have them. So when we do NTI, they can have digital devices at home and things like that. So it's federal dollars, so we have to be careful on what's referred to as we have to supplement and not supplant. But it's going to be dished out to us through our Title I program, but without all the Title I strings, if you will. But they've also told us not to put it into salaries, not to hire a new person with that money. But we should have new guidance with that sum. But I just want to be upfront and transparent with that. We will be getting money from the federal stimulus, but it will not be for general fund expenses.
The sum's better than none.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Miss Brenda. Yeah.
Okay, we need a motion on this.
Excuse me, I'll make the motion that we approve the salary schedules as presented.
I'll second it. Go ahead there.
Go ahead. You can go
So,
ahead.
Go ahead there. I think
All right, I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, vote.
Okay, Mr. Murray,
I'm first on this one, yes.
Miss Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Mrs. Wicker.
Yes. Let's see, where are we? We're district staffing and SBDM allocation policy.
The Russell County Board of Education should notify each council of the school's final staffing and SBDM allocation for the next fiscal year. Of course, we're in April, but we're talking about school year 2020, 2021. The councils need to have that by May 1st. So I recommend the approval of the final staffing formula, SBDM allocations, and the staffing and allocation policy for the 2020-2021 school year, and that the formula becomes part of the minutes. So just a couple of things on this. As in the past, we are staffing at the state formula. So that ratio that the state gives us, we would all love to decrease class size, certainly, but this funds at the state formula. And also for now, as we talked about at the previous meeting, for now, the formula, the allocation per pupil is at $100, and that's the minimum required by the state. And we wanted to do that like we have in years past. If we get further in the year and we see that things are maybe okay, like we did this past year, we can give the additional allocation to our schools. But for right now, the schools will need to plan on what dollar amount that looks like, based upon, you have the amounts in the worksheets, on what that dollar amount looks like for $100 per pupil for their allocation on their supply money. There's what we refer to as their Section 6 supply dollars. So again, this year, you all voted along later in the fall that we increase that amount. I hope that we can do that this year, but we need to plan to be really prudent with our dollars versus, here's a big dollar amount and then may have to scrape up something later. So again, it kind of goes back to the salaries. It's just the times that we're living in. I think it's just time to be really, really, really good stewards of the dollars. So I recommend the approval of this formula and the SBDM allocations, and this will become part of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
I'll second.
Okay, vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. School Facilities Construction Commission, SFCC, Kentucky Education Technology System, offer of assistance.
We just think about how we can
Get it all out there.
We Miss Carol and I think about how we can title the agendas to make them the most
Well,
difficult to read.
I believe it. I believe it.
It's hard, I
That
know.
Lindsay Prize tonight.
Yeah. So this is a letter that you all see frequently each year. This is our offer again of assistance. This time it's $13,539. And I, as the recommendation notes, I recommend that we escrow this full amount. We can do that for up to 3 years. Just something I always try to note with you all. When we do pull that money out of escrow or we spend that money, it has to be matched dollar per dollar with general fund dollars, or it can't be matched with any other grant funds. School dollars, they can match it. Our general fund dollars can match it. But for instance, we couldn't use Title I dollars or special ed dollars to match that money. It has to be out of the other funds to match that. So we typically, as I'm recommending now, we take it, we escrow it, so it sits there, and then we get other funds with it, or we pull it out to match it at a later time. And Ms. Carnes does all the paperwork behind the scenes that puts the money in escrow and pulls it back out at a later date. So again, I know that that's something you all have seen many different times.
Okay, we need a motion.
I make a motion, we approve that. I'm not gonna read all of it.
I'll second it.
Okay, vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes,
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes.
Okay.
Exceptional education consultant position / job description.
I think you skipped,
Yeah,
You-
we need number 11, Ms. Wicker. I think you might have,
skipped a couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry
about that.
Russell County High School boys and girls varsity soccer assistant coaches.
Okay, I messed up on this one. When I went before the board after the site base made the recommendation that we start the varsity boys and girls soccer program, high school soccer program at the February 2020 meeting, I failed to include the position of the assistants that go with that. And that's on me, and I apologize for that. So this is just, we didn't want to just add that on there and just say, well, we just forgot to do that. We always want to try to be transparent with you all and make things clean. So that's why I'm coming back to you to clean it up. So I recommend adding the assistant coaches, one for the girls, one assistant for the girl, one assistant for the boys, for the high school varsity girl and boys soccer programs, and that they be included on that extra service salary schedule at the level 5. That's one of the lower levels. So that would range from $1,500 to $3,000 based upon the coach's years of experience that they've had coaching there. So this is, like I said, just something that I needed to clean up on of not having that accurate at the February board meeting. So I apologize for that.
Okay, motion.
Make a motion, that we add the assistant coaches for the boys and girls high school varsity soccer program and the rest of it. Extra salary, extra service salary schedule, so forth.
I'll second it.
Okay, vote.
Of course, I know you all would never want to have a team like that, not have appropriate supervision. Of course, that goes with the kids. Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes,
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes.
And while we're talking about coaches, I want to clarify in case you all are asked or anything like that. Of course, all the spring sports have been canceled up to this point, and with the cancellation of Governor Beshear's recommendation, I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the board meeting. Of course, the coaches are already under their contract. They obviously have to be paid for this year, but we all can recognize that coaches put in a whole lot more time than they ever get paid for to begin with. And the work that they do on their fields or on their court or wherever that finds them on the courts or the bowling alley, the amount the coaches get paid, if you put that per hour, it's pennies on the dollar, if that, or pennies on the hour, if that much. And so I just want to clarify that if somebody asks you all or something like that, although their season may be suspended right now, they still will get that pay cycle for that.
it
Okay,
was not something they done anyway.
no. So the next one is the memorandums of agreements.
Okay, did we need
I make a motion, we approve the memorandum of agreements.
Let me talk about this one because I just added the second one with the health department, and we've done this before on the MOA. They provide staff. It's really for the preventing the teen pregnancy, and the project will implement a sexual risk avoidance education that teaches participants how to voluntarily refrain from non-marital sexual activity, and it's all dealing with our the teen pregnancy rates. And we appreciate the health department. I've thought to myself many times during the current coronavirus that we're going through, and all the work that the health department's going through that. And in the midst of all that, but then they're still working on all those other things that make them such valuable community partners. And I got this today, and I told them that they were in luck because we had a board meeting tonight, and we could throw it underneath the memorandums of agreement. And Miss Carol, as she always does, made that work for us. And so, and the other one is just our yearly contract for the Family Resource and Youth Service Centers.
okay, thank you, Carol. As always.
You're welcome.
We need a motion on this.
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve the memorandum of agreements.
I'll second it.
Vote,
Okay. Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Miss Wilson,
Yes.
Miss Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Miss Wicker.
Let's go.
Miss Wicker.
yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm
My
sorry.
phone's about to go out.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna have to change positions. Okay, and the next one is a
Special,
exceptional education consultant position, job description.
This is a position that we've had vacant. Actually, I had a very similar position to this several years ago here at the board, but we've not had a consultant position for exceptional ed in a number of years. As Ms. Dick and I have talked and worked with other districts, this is a common position in many other districts, and this position is not funded with general fund dollars. It's funded with IDEA. Ms. Dick, as she and I worked on these job descriptions and looked at other districts, she was really, and I know you all will appreciate this and our teachers will appreciate this. She's really searching for somebody with instructional practice as much as it is on the compliance part. So you all know from our CDIP, and I hate to say this part, but it's no secret, on our annual test score report, our children with disabilities, that's our largest gap between our non-disabled students and our students in special education. That's the biggest gap performance-wise when we talk about instructional practices and their performance on our testing and our assessments, and we even see that on our benchmarking. And so we want this to be not only somebody that can come in there and help with the meeting, bring some resources involving a specific disability, but also somebody on that instructional practice part that has the reading content strategies and bring in some math, has a rich toolbox for math instructional practices. And so Miss Dick is really adamant about that on that instructional, and I appreciate that part. So this position is they're paid off a regular teacher salary. They're not paid any more than a teacher. The only additional salary they would get is because they're going to work 10 extra days, and that would give them some time in the summertime, or before school started or after school started, in the fall, or in May after school, to work with teachers in professional development. So we can see doing that. And also Commissioner Brown told us today to really start thinking about how our virtual PD is going to look like right now. So, and we can do that because we can share a screen, as I was doing before this meeting. We can have these conversations, and we'll have our folks to guide those. But much like we're doing right now, we can have staff to provide professional development, and our co-op is providing a lot of great activities and things right now too. So there's no extra salary to the position. It's the same thing as our certified salary schedule. Again, just 10 extra days to provide them with that. So this job pending your all's approval, would then be posted, and then we would take applications for the position.
All right, any questions?
I make a
I'm
motion.
sorry, I missed the motion.
I think Ms. Joy just started.
I'm trying to make it. I'm making a motion that we approve the special education consultant position and the job description.
I'll second.
All right, vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Next one is Adam to SY 2019-2020 Certified Evaluation Plan.
Okay, with the coronavirus, and it kind of caught everybody, we've already been out of school now over a month. We'll be going into May. I can talk a little bit later about the 1,062-hour requirement. So not everybody was at the point to where the principals were finished with their evaluations. What this does, Ms. Bethany Baird participated. She takes care of this for us, and she participated in a webinar, not only with the state, we also have one, and I sit on that with our co-op, with some attorneys that work with our co-op. So what this provides is a little bit more flexibility to our administrators dealing with certified evaluations. Our certified evaluation plan is approved yearly by you all, by the school board. So we couldn't just unilaterally say, well, this is okay or that's okay, without bringing it before you all to have formal approval. So what this goes to now is I'll just go hit the highlights, a minimum of 1 full observation of non-tenured certified employees. So non-tenured are those teachers that are teaching 4 years or less. And a tenured teacher was when they're hired back for the beginning of their 5th year. Certified employees who were scheduled to receive a full observation, they will that will going to carry over for the 19 and 20 school year. I'm sorry, that they did not have it finished for the 1920. It will carry over for the 2021 school year. Superintendent always had the flexibility to adjust timeline that's in our current plan for, for sickness, for flu, winter, or whatever, of when we say these all have to be due. Obviously, I still have that flexibility with the current COVID-19 pandemic. And also, typically principals would always sit across the desk or sit next to a teacher and go over their plans. Now, this says they may conduct a summative conference prior to June 30th with any teacher, non-tenured or tenured. And they can email them and gives them electronic means to have that conversation with them. And so this addendum, pending your all's approval, will be attached along with the 1920 Certified Evaluation Plan. And I'd included both of these in your board packet. So it just gives our administrators some flexibility moving forward.
Okay, do we need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
I'll make the motion that we approve the addendum.
I'll take that one.
I'm sorry, who's second?
Gerald.
Mr. Murray? Okay.
Yes.
Vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. All right, we're down to New York City, New York, senior trip canceled.
Love something just a second here. Okay, unfortunately, it did not become a reality. We'd hoped to initially when we had canceled the other trips formally by you all that maybe this trip things would look different now than what we nobody can predict the future, but it doesn't. I want to tell you right now that hats off to Miss Devin Gobby, the sponsor. She has worked and worked and worked because we didn't want these kids to be out of their money and not go on a trip. And I know you all didn't either. But and hats off to the company as well. We fully expect, the last word that we got is that every parent or every child is going to get their full money back. And we didn't know how that was going to, we were really excited because that's not happening
Wonderful.
everywhere. We don't have that. We don't have the checks in hand yet because there's a lot of things they have to go through on their end with the tour company, with the hotels and all those things like that to get their money and then get it cycled back through us. But preliminary, they have told us that we expect everybody's going to get their money back. Again, Miss Devin has been phenomenal working with the families and they've all been anxious about that. But we expect to get that money back. Once we get that back, it's going to go to the high school's account because they were the initial ones that took the deposits of that money. And then we look for the high school to put that money out on checks back to the people whose account it was under. So that's going to be a process. And I've told parents it's going to take a few weeks to once us to get that and then to process everything. But again, the good news is that we fully expect that money to be there. Mr. Hoover has been working with us some on that too, and has been aware of the situation and working with the company. So we're very, very pleased that it seems like it's going to work out for everybody because that's a pretty good hunk of money, especially not getting to go. So, but because the board had formally given permission for that trip, we just wanted you all to formally rescind that, just to have it in minutes and make it official that trip's not happening.
Okay, it's a shame.
It is the same.
I
So
make
I-
a motion, we cancel the New York senior trip.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Vote?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. All right, we're at public comment.
Let me go over to the YouTube channel and see if anybody is on to have any, there's an opportunity to chat and to give,
Questions?
yes,
Thank you.
yep. You read my mind. Miss Carol, you might be logged in as well.
Believe I am, and I don't see any, but double check me. I'm not for sure that I am.
Opportunity to chat and to give,
Questions?
yes,
Thank you.
yep.
So do you think they'll probably cancel our conference in June, right?
I don't see any either, Miss Carol. If you don't care, can you monitor that, Miss Carol? You might be logged in as well.
Yes, let me make sure that I am. It shows that I am, so.
Okay. If you see anything else there, Miss Carol, that pops up, we certainly want to give the public an opportunity to chime in there and to ask any questions that they may have. That was the last of our action items, and there's nothing else except for the public comments and the adjournment. I do just want to note a few things. We had a call with the governor today, and as everybody knows, he did recommend that all in-person classes be canceled for the rest of the 1920 school year. So that means that we will continue with our
NTI.
yes, we will continue. I'm sorry, somebody was texting me and I thought it might be a question. So we'll continue with the NTI for the remainder of the school year. One thing that is different, and I've not done a formal thing to parents or anything yet, but Senate Bill 177 said that all school districts had to have 1,062 hours, and they didn't have to worry about the 170 days. For us, that would have meant that we would have been going to about May 18th, something like that. Traditional, our original calendar said May 22nd. Now the commissioner has taken action, and he said that following along with Senate Bill 177, we still have to have 1,062 hours. We already didn't have to have the 170 days, but the kicker is it goes by your school hours, and most NTI plans called for 6 or 6.5 hours a day. He is counting every NTI day to count as 7 hours. And so that might not seem like a lot, but you take 7 hours instead of 6.5 hours, that adds up to be several days worth. And so we're looking at now. Okay, Mr. Onion's on the phone and has a question. Miss Carol's taking this call. But you do 7 hours every day. It counts as 7 hours versus 6.5. That looks now, Miss Dameron had worked it up today. And so we're looking at probably six days, essentially, that's probably going to make up a difference for us. And so that takes up quite a little bit of additional time. It's great. And our teachers are working great. Some folks are what the commissioner's referring to. It's NTI fatigue. Our students are pretty fatigued with it. As awesome as our teachers are, it's hard. It's hard on our staff to keep this rate going. There's so much goes on behind the scenes. I know Kobe Lee's teachers, the efforts, the work that they're putting in and checking in on him and calling and talking to him and sending him a poem. There's just all kinds of things that's going on, but we're referred to it as NTI fatigue. So we're going to get everything put together and what that looks like for Russell County, but we're going to probably be out, earlier than what we thought as far as that. Another thing, you all have heard me say, and high school principal, Mr. Gossage, and we still are committed to as a traditional of a high school graduation that we can possibly have. But even if that means to wait, but the governor had told us today not to wait and hope that we can have a regular graduation in July or August. He instead, and I think it's really good advice, and Mr. Gossage and I kind of text about this, he really wants us to go ahead now and have a virtual or a drive up or a drive through, much like churches are having, to do something for our seniors now versus doing nothing and waiting until July and August, and then we still can't do anything, because that might be the possibility. Let's just be honest. It might be the possibility come July or August, and you look at that second phase and how that's going to be instrumented or implemented, that we may not still be able to have a traditional graduation. So our intent is that we will do something now virtually, or a drive-in, a drive-through, and then the high school's already there. Before that, we already had of working on that. But to work on that now and do that now, sometime in May, to honor our seniors, they certainly deserve that, with the hopes that come July or August, we can still have a graduation, a traditional graduation. There's nothing that prevents us from having a graduation. But I hope and pray that come August that everything is back to our new normal, as what the governor refers to, and we can have some sort of a graduation and have folks come in, even if that means we have to have 2 waves, or we have to have limited to only the parents. I don't see a time to what a graduation that looked like in May of 2019, a packed high school. That's not going to happen anytime soon. We just need to face that reality, but to hope that we can do something. So again, I appreciate Mr. Gossage and the high school. They're working on something to honor our seniors to the extent that we can right now, and then in hopes that we can do something more traditional come July or August. If things are really looking good in August, and we have our seniors that are graduating, and hopefully they get to go off to college or work, so we have to be mindful of that. We would want to have that prior to them going off to college, and we hope that works and they get to go off to college. I just want to say a few other things. I see you smiling, Miss Joy. I've got a microphone, I'm gonna have to talk. But again, I cannot tell you all, and you all have seen it, social media and otherwise, the work that our faculty, staff, administration is.
That's true.
It is absolutely phenomenal. Only comments and things that I have fielded from our parents and guardians is praise and thank you. I had a parent text me the other night talking about a high school teacher that was on the phone with their child right then working on an algebra problem. And I think it's great that learning is continuing. Is it as good as in person? Of course not. It couldn't be as good as being in the classroom with our instructional assistants and our teachers and just that whole support staff and all of that. But I think it's as good as it can get. And then you couple that with our food service that's getting our food out, our family resource and youth service center folks, and our bus drivers that are delivering meals and all the other folks that have worked to make that happen. It's just phenomenal. So I just want to give a hats off to them and their energy and their work that they're doing and just being so inventive. I agree with our commissioner. This is going to change instruction anyway. I think this is going to make us an opportunity, and I think we need to utilize some of this federal dollars we have to buy our students Chromebooks and our teachers the technology and the things to use. They could implement those platforms in their classroom, and going forward, if we have something such as this or just a traditional, a bad winter and we have out 5 days, instruction can go on seamlessly using those Chromebooks and all those different things like that. So it's just great. Commissioner Brown always tells us that it's the goal of KDE right now to educate, to feed, and support. And I think that's where we're at. I think that's a great goal for all of us to share with our students and our families to make that work. Commissioner Brown also sent out, and I'm going to send it out to everybody today after our governor's call that we had. He refers to it as the Education Continuation Plan, and what that's going to look like and how they're going to still support us. We have a call with the commissioner on Thursday to iron out some more operational things. And then after that, I've scheduled a call or a Microsoft team meeting with our principals and central office admin after we get all this fresh information that's coming out from the governor and from our commissioner going forward. A lot of things going on right now as to what school may look like in August. I think just being honest, I think it's within the realm of possibility. It looks different or it may be delayed. And all those are things that we will just have to address going forward. I don't anticipate anything like our summer day camps and summer school activities anytime in the future based upon the information we received from Governor Beshear today and Commissioner Brown. I don't think that's going to happen. So we really need to look at what our school is going to look like in the fall and how we can supplement and provide after school instruction, because as good as NTI is, Kobe's not had Melinda Wright teaching him math in the classroom 5 days a week since March. And as good as the NTI is, he misses that. And, Khan Academy is great, but it's still not as good as Melinda Wright or Lindsay and Mr. Roy and Miss Walters. I'm just mentioning Kobe Lee's teachers. It goes for the same. When we can't make up for that. So coming this fall, we've got to have a plan in place, and we've got to work right now of what that's going to look like when we can hit the ground running to make up for lost time, because we've had lost time, and
Definitely.
we've got to make up for that. Miss Carol, before I forget, if you don't care, you can tell us Mr. Onion's question, and we can address that if you want to unmute yourself.
Actually, he just has a comment.
Okay.
So do you want me to just let you put it through to you, or?
You can read it aloud or tell us.
Okay, but let me see. Okay, I was going to see how we're going to, what's your comment? What are you wanting to share?
Or you can put him up to your mic, Miss Carol, and he can say it aloud.
Okay, I tell you, hey, Mr. Onion, let me do this. Let me just put you up to my mic, and hope everybody can hear you, okay? Give me a second.
Okay.
So, do you want me to just let you put it through? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Onion.
You can read it aloud.
I can't hear him. Can you not hear him?
cannot.
Let me see. Hold on just a second. Mr. Onion? Okay. Now try it. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this. You hearing?
Carol, is your YouTube still on? Because I hear somebody's YouTube playing.
Can you hear me?
Wait just a second, Mr. Onion.
Okay.
Give me,
Well, first of all, I guess that's it.
okay, now try it.
Can you put him on speaker?
Anybody hear me?
Yeah.
And yes. Working, Carol, but that's okay.
Okay, Mr. Ford's giving me a thumbs up.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I've turned my YouTube off, so.
Okay.
Okay, go for it, Mr. Onion.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes.
Somebody thumbs up if you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, first of all, Mr. Ford, you took all my time. Two comments. One is, can you hear me? Slides before the meeting started. I guess I'm seeing a time delay. The slides before the meeting started. Well, first of all, Mr. Ford, you took all my time. Two comments. One is,
Mr. Onion?
there's a time delay, Carol. That's kind of what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, well, you just keep talking because we hear you just fine. So just
Okay.
ignore the YouTube one right now.
The slides went too fast and I couldn't read them. And I never did read the slide that talked about no more in-class sessions this school year completely because they moved too fast to the next.
Okay, Mr. Onion, all it said is there will not be in-person classes for the rest of this year. More information soon.
The second thing is, I like the idea of Chrome for all the students, but we have a problem in this county with bandwidth. And right now, I've got a fiber optic box on the outside wall of my house, and it's been there for 8 months.
Okay, Mr. Onion, all it said is there will not be in-person classes for the rest of this year. More information soon.
Now, the second thing is, I like the idea of Chrome for all the students,
Mercy.
but we have a problem in this county with bandwidth. And right now,
So there's just that time delay is messing him up.
yes.
So you just keep talking to us and ignore that.
So I'm done.
Okay, well, to answer the question about the Chromebook, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Onion, not only to deal with the bandwidth, which that's getting better as Dual County works to expand that. But the second thing with that is we realize that not all of our families have internet connection. And that's just like NTI right now. You know, not all of our families, we're still providing a lot of paper copies to our families, and that's fine. We will always and continue to whatever. So if we were to be able to get a Chromebook and put that in the hands of our students, and they can work on that with internet, that's great. And some families in other districts I know are going and finding hotspots. So we can also open that up to where folks could park at our schools and they could make use of our schools bandwidth if they wanted to. That's already happening in some districts. And number two, we will always continue to have paper copy for our families that need it. Absolutely. And that's just going to be how it's going to be. And they can work on that with internet. That's great. And some families. Is Mr. Onion still on there, Miss Carol?
No, he's hung up.
Okay.
But it's the time delay that was, because the YouTube is probably about 30 seconds behind or so. Somebody else has got it on because I can hear it.
They say somebody else. I can
But
hear.
I just want to say again, thank you all for making this work. I know we had a little bit of hiccups, but the next one will only be better, and we'll get better from there. Second, I can't tell you enough about this community, the folks that have done things behind the scenes. You know, the other day, a lady
Yeah.
wanted me to meet them, and she had coloring books and crayons and food for us to give to a family that was really in need. And it's just stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, I've got it on.
That is making it work. So it's phenomenal. I'm going to get together a lot of information that kind of condenses what our information we received from the governor and then the other information we received from the commissioner and get that put out to everyone.
Do we need to make a motion, the meeting adjourned?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll
Brenda and Miss Joy, was that you second?
Yes.
Okay. At 6:15.
Are we off?
Okay, all in favor?
Hey.
Ah.
Okay. Okay, well, you all, it's good to see everybody. Take care.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Better be safe.
All right, bye-bye.
Right.